is Tina, welcome back to my channel. So a bit of a different video for you guys today. I mean, obviously you can see my face, so that's a first for me. And yeah, I thought we would just come along and work with, or I will show you how I would work with my Flights of Fancy physical ephemera or junk journal kit. So this is how it would arrive to you. All these bits and bobs here. So probably if I were receiving this, the first thing that I would probably do is coffee dye some of the bits and pieces. So I'm just going to separate out the pieces that I would coffee dye. So just move some of the pieces to one side. Obviously you've got here your photographs sheet, and you've got your flowers sheet, and you've got this journaling cards kind of sheet. You've also got your words, so I would coffee dye those, and I would also coffee dye my background pages. Yeah, I would probably leave it at that at the moment. Of course, you could also coffee dye the sheet music and things. I haven't ever coffee dyed sheet music, so I wouldn't like to say how that goes, but you know, you could try that if you're confident that it works. Now, just a quick word on these. These are printed pages, and I have successfully managed to coffee dye printed pages of mine. In fact, if you've bought the physical kit of this, any pieces that are coffee dyed, you know, I have printed them and then I've coffee dyed them. So I have always found that successful. I just want to quickly, you know, just say, please, please, please try it first on just like a corner or something, just in case for any reason your coffee is different to mine and it produces a different effect or anything like that. You know, I just want to make sure that you're, you know, trying kind of something different. So how I do my coffee dyeing, I've promised a video on coffee dyeing for a really long time. I just use really cheap brand coffee. This is from a shop here that we have called Aldi. It's really cheap. I don't measure, I just tip some out. And that way I can just, you know, darken it and lighten it depending on how I want to. I'm going to just pour some water in from the kettle, so just excuse me for a moment, or for a moment. So this is obviously freshly boiled water. I just pour that in like that. Now, I'm utilising one of our nice, or last of our nice summer's days. So I will just dry this outside. So what I've got here is a little, or another pan, to be able to put my coffee dye sheets into, and then transport it out into the garden, and I will just leave it all laying around. If I didn't do that, if I do it kind of in the winter, I have to say I'm quite often just leaving paper all over the worktops and things here in the kitchen. But if not, I have obviously oven dried, that's fine too, but just to warn you, it can sometimes make the paper quite crispy depending on the oven temperature. So do it on a low temperature, you know, try and be a bit patient. That's not my forte, so yeah, I struggle with the being patient part of that. So I just take my paper, and obviously this is quite a big tray, and I just kind of run my paper through, and often do it twice so as it covers all of it, and then drip it out, pop it in there ready to go into the garden. So again, take this one, just pull it through. If it needs a second dunk, and that's it. Obviously, you know, if I wasn't doing a video, if I'm drying in the garden, I would generally actually just do this in the garden. But I was struggling to, you know, picture how I would do a video doing that, so hence I'm doing it here in the kitchen. But that's all I do for all of my, you know, coffee dyeing. So I'll just show you a different piece. So I'll take the flowers, and again, just run them through in the tray, and just then take them out. So that's all there is to it. Now, I also would probably coffee dye my lace piece. So if you've bought this, or if you're getting this kit, you get a piece of lace as well. So again, I would just kind of dunk that into the coffee. Now, sometimes again, I would actually put this on the countertop, you know, on the stove top, and leave it boiling away for, you know, an hour or so. But if I'm in a rush, i.e. now, you know, doing a video, I'm just going to just leave it soak for a couple of minutes, like that, and then take it out, give it a good squeeze, like that. And then I would just either rinse it and then hang it out to dry, or just hang it out to dry, depending on how dark you want the colour. Obviously, if you rinse it, you may find you rinse the coffee straight off. So I'm just going to take this over here, just rinse it slightly, like that. Okay, so I mean, I've still got a really good colour on there. And as you can see, it's got variations in colour, which I quite like that. But yeah, I mean, ordinarily for fabric, I would probably leave it in one of those big sort of casserole pots on the top of the pan and leave it boiling for an hour or so, and then rinse it off. And then the coffee is less likely to come off of the fabric because it's more ingrained on the fabric. But I'm just doing it very quickly to obviously give you an overview of how to do that. So I'm just going to obviously finish all my papers and then take them all out to dry before we get on to the next thing. I might just quickly try some of the sheet music, because obviously, as I say, I haven't tried that. I don't think ever. I maybe have, but I don't feel like I've maybe ever even coffee dyed the sheet music. So, you know, that's the first for me. Okay, I'm going to now go and leave them to dry. Right, I'm back now from drying off all my coffee dyed bits and pieces. So they're more or less dry. They're not quite, but they're good enough. Just one thing really, I forgot to say, but also I coffee dyed all of my little die cut pieces. So the pieces that were included in the paper bags, I also coffee dyed the paper bags themselves, but all of the little fussy cut or die cut pieces I also coffee dyed. So what I'm going to do now is just get on and iron everything. So obviously the fabric and all of the fussy cut pieces themselves. Some are quite flat. I mean, that's dried pretty flat, so probably doesn't really need ironing, but I do like to kind of iron everything. And actually it seems to help to stiffen things up and makes them quite, yeah, stiffer really. So that's a bit of a tip there. Just before I go and do that, I just want to quickly share this with you. Oh my gosh, I hope you can see that. That's just how I kind of piled the things up from the garden to bring them back in. And I just love how that bunch of stuff just looks on that coffee dyed sheet music. It just looks beautiful, doesn't it? I mean, this gentleman, just with all the bits and pieces, just looks so lovely. I wish I could just capture that for a journal page. So I just wanted to share that really, just because I thought, oh, that looks lovely. Just love it, just how that looks. So I'm going to go off and iron everything, and then I will be back for the next part. Okay, so everything's all ironed and flat now, and all looking really yummy and gorgeous and smelling of coffee. So I'm just going to now put these to one side, and then I think what I'll do is, this is my piece of the vintage fabric that obviously has been coffee dyed. So all I'm going to actually do here is create some ruffles using this fabric. So I'm going to cut the fabric, I mean, this is probably approximately an inch, and then just tear it down into sort of 1 inch strips like that. And then I'm going to sew the ruffles on the sewing machine. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do that on video. I mean, I could bring my sewing machine out here to the kitchen, but to be honest, I don't think I would be able to actually film the process of stitching the ruffles, because you know, I have to get my head very close into the sewing machine and things, so I don't think you'd actually see me actually stitching them. But there are loads and loads of tutorials on how to stitch ruffles. I think Gail Agostinelli's got one. I have a feeling that the Gina from the Firefly Studio, I think she's got one as well. So, you know, if you want to know how to stitch the ruffles, then obviously go and check some out. I mean, just to give you a kind of overview without the sewing machine here, I don't think that my method is great. I have actually stitched through my thumb before, but I just feed it through, the stitch is just on the middle, and I just kind of have it quite slow and just then gather it up whilst it's feeding through. That's how I stitch them. Obviously that might not be the best method. So I'm just going to trim this down just here because obviously it's a little bit uneven. Okay, so you know, I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ruffles from that piece of fabric, which, you know, that's fine because obviously I will probably cut them down. I like to use them in little tiny kind of sections and segments. So I'm going to do that and then I will come back to you. I might have to do it on a separate video because I'm not quite sure how I'm going to actually join iPad and video filming, if you see what I mean. So this may have to be a part 1. Anyway, I will see you shortly. Thanks then, bye.